So not only do you work, you also play rugby.
You try to anyway, yeah.
No,
No, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's true.
Flo Harrison.
Flo Harrison.
Flo
Yeah. I've
Harrison.
been run around by both of you guys at training many a time. It's great.
Well,
Honestly, when I get Sarries and they put at me at 15 against you, I think, fucking hell, Jess, you're getting it tonight.
You're getting
Watch
it.
out. Watch
Chip and
out.
chase, here we go.
Yeah.
Out the
I
back.
might get within like 10 metres of you and you're going to be scared.
okay, well, my question was going to be, how do you manage the physical and mental demands of playing at a high level whilst also working full time? And I know the answer to this question. She struggles.
Yeah, it struggles. Yeah. It is really hard. I think it is, not to be too negative, but it is getting harder because...
No, I think we can see that as people that are full time. Like, I wouldn't want to work alongside it.
Which actually, you know what, that sounds really bad, but that makes me feel better.
No, yeah, no. I think the timings don't suit you. The demand that you have to give within those hours at training are hard, even though you've had a hard day. I think it's hard. I always think it's hard for clubs to cater to you guys
100%.
as well as us. Like it's hard. I think all in all, it's hard, but there isn't, like we say, enough money and etc. But sorry, this isn't talking about me. This is meant to be about
I actually
you.
have a question from exactly what you said. Why do you do it then?
Because it's like a drug.
Toxic relationship.
You just want to, like, I just want to go and get absolutely pummeled into the ground by Marley Packer.
No, we've got
like,
young listeners.
No, it's like, you do, the reason you started playing is because you go and you have a laugh with your mates and you play a sport that you think that you're good at, think being the operative word there. And like, as the sport has grown, like you get to be in professional environments, you get to play in cool stadiums, you get to play alongside cool people, and you get to learn a lot.
People.
And so like, that is great. But as it has changed, especially in the last like 2 or 3 years, you know, like we're on like probably like 60% of most Premiership squads now are professional. It's their jobs. And we're still coming at it from a way of like, this is that release. It's like a elite hobby, whatever you want to call it. So when you get there and you're expecting like the same banter and people wanting to like have a bit of a laugh with it, sometimes people don't want to do that because it is their job and they've got World Cups to prepare for. And I totally get that, but it does make it's quite difficult to evolve when, like, for me, it hasn't massively changed. It's still a thing I do alongside my career. It's not my job.
And it's your get out, but it's our job. So it's having that hard, like if you're having a bad day at work, you go to rugby to have a good time.
Yeah.
Whereas if we're having a bad day at work, that's at rugby and I can't escape that.
Yeah. Whereas you're like, I can't wait to go home. And I'm like, I can't wait to go to rugby.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, sometimes I also can't wait to go home.
Yeah.
But it is getting harder because a few years ago, you'd probably all get to training at the same time and you'd all be on the same page. Whereas now I get there and I'm like, oh, what did you do earlier?
Yeah.
What have you learned yesterday? Or what was that feedback? Or what did so-and-so say to you? And oh crap, let me eat something really quickly. And like, oh, actually, let me just check my phone because I've got to send that email. And you're just like, you're half in, half out.
Yeah.
And I kind of hate doing that. So like, honestly, massive, like to the girls who are also playing week in, week out, starting for their clubs doing that. I mean, I'm playing a very much supportive role at Sarries, holding many a bag and wearing many a bib. But for the girls who
Many a bibs.
Yeah, just like all the bibs.
There's 32 bibs. You really round like a marshmallow.
Yeah, literally. Trying to chase Jess. But like Sydney Gregson, Lottie Clapp, May Campbell, Christiana Balogun, just to name a few, Bryony Cleal, Bryony Fields, Cara Wardle, like all these people who were doing it and playing week in, week out off the back of full days at work and like quite serious jobs. And like you also, and to the people that have quit their jobs and gone full time and like live on a shoestring to make it happen, like props to them because it's not easy. And when you run out on a weekend and you're in a stadium and you've got fucking Ellie Kildunne next to you and you've got a Quins badge on, people think you're a professional athlete.
Yeah.
They don't understand that you're doing the same job as somebody else on half the amount of time and energy and effort. And it is wild that we're going to be in that same situation for like at least 5 more years. It's just crazy.
Do you think you've had to sacrifice anything or much to be able to maintain both to like a high level? Like I know you dumb it down, but like you've played for Wales, like you are in a professional team. Like do you think there's had to be sacrifices or priorities in some areas.
It's weird because I think when you're in it, you don't feel it. You don't feel the sacrifice. I think as soon as it feels like a sacrifice, you need to think about stepping away, personally. And it does challenge you because when you absolutely love it, you don't think about what you're missing. But some days it is hard. But like if you've got good teammates around you and you've got a supportive club environment who get it, then that makes it a lot easier. But yeah, I mean, like when I was living out of a travel lodge in Caerphilly, going to Wales camps and stuff, that was a pretty sad life. But I would like send a picture of my Welsh kit to my dad and like you'd be like, oh, I actually don't want to be anywhere else right now. And that's why sometimes when you hear about the men refusing contracts because of not the right money and stuff, I know everyone is different, but it really does put things into perspective when you are essentially doing that like out of pocket just because you love it.
Yeah.
When governing bodies put that into their plans about having dual careers, you really think about it because it is so tough. And I think like the mental health of players who are having to do both, who you're like tearing them away from something they absolutely love. Like it is not the best rugby players that make it is the best jugglers that end up making it. And so many people fall by the wayside because they're just like, I cannot do this anymore. And I think if they can change salary caps or work out things for non-contracted players that are different, they absolutely should. Because at the moment, you've got international players who are getting paid a healthy salary from their club and from their country, and then other people who are on fuck all.
Well, May Campbell is an example.
May Campbell,
she has been in England camp. She's played 2-3 games, I think, this Six Nations period. But her laptop will be in the team room, and she'll be every spare minute she's on her laptop typing away, doing something. She has to organise calls for after training. So as soon as the whistle blows in training, she sprints in, sweaty, like hair's a mess, and she's on that call. Yeah, this is going to sound crazy, but she has to work to be able to pay her rent because of being in the day. Being in at England, she gets like a day rate, but like it's not enough to pay her rent because her rent's on what her salary is at her job. So like that difference, and I don't know. I don't know how she does it, and she doesn't either. I think when she walks away from it, she goes, "How did I even do that?" And now we've got 5 weeks off,
and she's working.
Yeah, and she's working.
Yeah. Honestly, I used to look forward to the season ending so I could actually do my job properly and just focus on one thing. And everybody like, "Oh, you're looking forward to some time off?" And I'm like, "I'm just looking forward to like finishing a day of work and feeling like I've accomplished what I needed to do, rather than going, what train am I going to get? How can I bang as much caffeine in the next 20 minutes as possible?" Like, and then not being able to sleep and then having to do it all again the next day. But yeah, May Campbell, this is a compliment, is a freak of nature. And it is because she is unbelievably talented that she's able to do both of those things. But there are a lot more people out there that just are not able to do that. Do you have missed out?
Do you think that like your experience with understanding that, like me and Jess will sit here and be like, yeah, it must be really hard, but we don't understand it properly. Do you think that your understanding of the struggles helps your work outside of playing because you want it to change and you're in the position to be the driver of that change?
Yeah, I think especially when we talk about brands, especially, this is why I have such a huge passion for athletes being able to build brands around themselves, and for teams and unions and competitions to not block anybody from being able to grow a brand around themselves, because that is how you're going to make your money. You're going to make more money from brand sponsorships than you will from playing rugby at this rate, for example. And if there are athletes who can make a career for themselves that fits around rugby through brand partnerships, rather than having a 9-to-5, I think that is great. And it takes the pressure off of them having to juggle both. And also, like, even though you guys don't have to work a 9-to-5, respectfully, you're not getting paid like what Premier League footballers are, that if you retire, you're not going to be able to sit back. You're probably going to, and I know there are other teams competing in the Six Nations that when their contracts come to an end, close to the end of a very major tournament this year, are probably going to have to start thinking about getting another job. And like when you're at a major tournament, you shouldn't have to think about anything else. So that union cannot block you guys from posting about a brand if that's what's going to pay you more and mean that you can just focus on what you're doing. So that's what makes me even more passionate in my job, to make sure that brands are investing in the game so that people can have more sustainable careers and there's more for everybody to access and more brands to be able to support not just international players but club players too.